Hi friends, welcome to English lesson. In today's lesson, we are going to talk about national values and core values. And in this lesson, we are going to learn about values. Also, we are going to have a grammar part. We will learn the second conditional. I am going to show you some pictures. Look at the pictures. These are our national cultural values. One of them is lavash, which has been included in the UNESCO's Cultural Heritage List. Which other pictures, which other values do you think are listed in the UNESCO's Cultural Heritage List? Let's think about them. What do you see? Lavash, semeni, we can see, and carpets with specific patterns. We can also see the Maiden Tower. We can see some musical instruments which belong to Azerbaijani nation. Also, we can see the Shirvanshahlar's palace and Gobustan and some scarves which is called Kelagayı in Azerbaijan. These are valuable things of Azerbaijani nation. And why do we learn values? Why are national values so important for humans? Why are they so important? Why do we learn them? Our values are important because they help us to grow and develop. They help us to create the future we want to experience. That's why it's very important to learn your own value. If we don't love and respect our values, nobody else will love them. So we represent our country. We need to know about our values and love them. In our previous lesson, we talked a lot about values. We learned lots of new vocabulary, we had discussions, and now we are going to learn grammar. If you remember, in one of our previous lessons, we learned about zero conditional and the first conditional. And today I'm going to teach you the second conditional. Let's look at these expressions, rules, and complete them with the necessary words. Okay, rule number 1. We use the second conditional to describe an unreal situation. Unreal situation. It means that we use it to talk about a situation which is not true. For example, if I were you, I wouldn't do that. Is it possible that I am you? No, it's an unreal situation. I cannot be you. So we use the second conditional for such situation. In the if clause, we use the past simple. Remember, I said if I were you. Were is in past simple, right? In the main clause, we use would or apostrophe D. Would or apostrophe D, which also means would. For example, I'd go. It means I would go. Now let's see some examples and understand these rules much better. Now let's make this sentence in the second conditional. I want to tell you something. Was, were are the past form of the verb be. Was, were. Was is used for singular nouns and were is used for plurals. But it's a rule in the second conditional, even if the subject is singular, we always use were. For example, if it were sunny, if I were you, if I were younger, okay, we always use were in the second conditional. So I will say, if I were famous, what would happen if I were famous? People would recognize me. Remember, in the second conditional, we use would. So, people would recognize me on the street. Let's continue. This is a question sentence, but we will use the same structure. What would you do This is the main clause. What would you do? Now we will write if clause. And in if clause we use past simple. What would you do if you... Our verb is lose. What is the past form of lose? Lost. Your job. Please pay attention. Remember the rule we learned. What would you do if you lost your job? In the if clause, we use past simple. That's why lose is lost here. Okay? And here, what would you do? We use would. This is an unreal situation, okay? Nobody lost their job. This is just a question. What would you do if you lost your job? Like, it's unreal because it didn't happen. Next one, if I lost my job, I would have to look for another one. It's also second conditional unreal situation. I didn't lose my job. I am just telling if I lost, I would. So let's write if I lose, we will say lost because we need past simple. If I lost my job, I would have to look because I have to use would here. I would have to look for another one. Another sentence where also main clause comes first and if clause comes second. Sometimes they can change their places. So, I would travel. Remember, in the main clause we use would in front of the verb. I would travel to China if I were able to speak Mandarin. Able to in the past will be were able. If I were able to speak Mandarin. Mandarin is a language in China. So the situation is that I don't speak Mandarin. This is the unreal situation. But if I could speak, if I spoke, I would travel to China. Okay, let's do this one. If I have, we need past simple. So we will say, if I had more time, this is called if clause. Now we will do the main clause. And in the main clause, we will use would. I would do more sport. I would do more sport. What is the unreal situation? What is not true? The truth is that I don't have more time. But if I had more time, I would do more sport. Do you understand, guys? This is a very useful language. If you understand the second conditional, it will be very useful in your speech. Now we will do 3 more questions, which is a bit different. In this exercise, we have to rewrite the sentences using the second conditional. So we have some situations here. We have to write correct sentences in the second conditional. The first one, the restaurant is very expensive, so we don't eat there. So what would happen if the restaurant weren't expensive? We would eat there. Do you understand the situation, guys? The unreal situation is that the restaurant isn't cheap right now. It's very expensive. So, if the restaurant weren't very expensive, we would eat there. Next one. You don't water the garden, so it doesn't look very good. Let's turn this sentence into the second conditional. If you, our verb is water, we will use past simple. If you watered, watering means giving water. If you watered the garden, it would look very good. It means the garden. It would look very good. What is the unreal situation here? The situation is that the garden doesn't look good right now. But if you watered it, it would look good. The last one, dear students. I don't have Jane's number, so I can't call her. If I had Jane's number, I would call her. This is the sentence. This is the correct sentence. If I have, in the past will be had. If I had Jane's number, I would call her. Or you can say, I could call her. Because we have can here. Sometimes instead of would, we can also say could. I could call her. That's all about the second conditional. I hope by looking at these exercises you understood this grammar rule. If you didn't understand, please check internet or check your textbooks for further information. And in the end, I will give you your assignment. Do exercises 9 and 10 on pages 141 and 142. These are the exercises that we did in class right now. You will complete the exercises. That's the end of our lesson for today. See you next time. Bye-bye.